Just to let you know what we're going to do here is, obviously, with the last thing we had was somewhere around 1,400 people at RSVP to come to this event. Obviously, we can't unveil it after the ceremony and then get out of the way fast enough to say goodbye. So what we're going to do now is have a formal unveiling, so that after we're finishing our presentation, we can kind of get out of the way of the folks come through here. And as you know, there's a reception supported by the Nevada Women's History Project, and Mrs. Guinn was able to get a donation from the Nevada Power Company and a few others in order to make that happen over in the State Library and Archives. But for right now, I'm going to get out of the way and let the Nevada Women's History.
Yeah. Okay, you got what you need?
You know, there's 98 of these in the Capitol before we dedicated this one, and they still didn't have a veil that would work.
Let's get that photo with us. Make a little one with everybody in it. Yeah. Instead of it all covered up. Mrs. Guinn? Okay. Ah, good. Sunglasses off. Good. One more. After this one. Okay.
Welcome and good evening. I'm Scott Sisco, the Interim Director of the Nevada Department of Cultural Affairs. On behalf of the Governor and the First Lady, the Nevada Women's History Project, and the staff of the Department of Cultural Affairs, I'd like to say how pleased we are that all of you are here to share this unique and wonderful moment in the cultural history of our state. I would like to begin by inviting Walker River Tribal Elder Andy Allen to deliver an opening blessing.
Thank you very much. My name's Andy Allen. I'm a senior member of the Walker River Paiute tribe of Shores, Nevada. And my assistant here is a member of the Ponca tribe from Nebraska. Her name is Barbara Honey, and she assists me on all my adventures such as this. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be speaking at such an occasion as this here this evening. And it's just a wonderful feeling to see one of our elders as a statue standing in the halls over here with all the other ex-governors. And it's wonderful that she is looking all above all of our seniors, Native Americans throughout Nevada and all over the Great Basin area. And I was asked to do this prayer, and it flows out of me more easily in my own language, the Paiute language. First, I'll translate what I'm going to pray for. First, I'm going to pray for the people that put this on, and all the people that's here tonight, this evening, and I want to bless them all, and also their safe return back home after this event is over with. And of all of our military personnel that's in harm's way right now, both men and women, and the people, the young men and women that hasn't gone yet, I'll pray for their safe return also. But it's just a wonderful feeling to be here standing among you this afternoon, this evening, and it's so nice to see a gathering of such. And I came past the statue as I was entering the hallways over here, and I haven't seen it yet, but it's there. So what I'm going to do now is translate into my Paiute language, and as I will say my prayer, when I say Ina, it's kind of it's saying Our Father, and at the end of my prayer I will say Pihua, which is sending my prayer to heaven. So when I say Pihua, that'll be the end of my prayer. And then we can continue on the event this evening. So those of you with caps on, hats on, would you remove them? And we will commence. Ina, Yaurora Mishamus, Yarmi Bishamani, Yaria Tai, the Mida Humani, the Orders, to be sure to be new and away, the lead one now. Yao de Madamigo, what the Bishamon, the Bishamani, Bishamani, Shiara, Media, Tus Mariki, Yao to eat me, Numunapa with Marimo, work career in. Ons pobijea no pobijea no mategas, onda me pobijea manish matu manikia. Ya no ya do was lia bitter. Us pobijea no masite heish, onda me pobijea pobijea podik. Onda me pobijea chaos. Onda was metiupas. No na masir. Pobijea ponia, boa banana, poitene na gooi na wil, on door zijn musko, bezeer maar tegen oren no weet spitje, on door zijn muur was keizer neer, no wat weet bezeer maar zit hij is on no en daarmee was spitje, on die daarmee bezeer maar ja maar tot nou ik, die is voor daarmee, ja daarmee bezeer maar is bezeer maar daarmee maar is. Pihua. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Allen. Today is as much a celebration as it is a dedication. The statue we are here to dedicate is a tribute to a Native American woman whose life reflects the spirit of Nevada. Last month, Nevada presented the original statue to the people of America in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol. There, Sarah's passion, her refusal to give up against overwhelming odds, and devotion to her people may serve as inspiration for an entire country. Now, we prepare to open the doors to the twin of that statue, a duplicate sculpture that will reside here in our state capitol as a reminder to our state's proud cultural heritage for generations to come. As we dedicate this new state treasure, there's much for us to celebrate. We celebrate the life of a great Nevadan, and we honor the people she so frequently served. We celebrate the talents of a remarkable young artist, who you will meet in a moment, and the hard work of those who have helped make this moment possible, many of whom are here today. We also celebrate a remarkable public-private partnership between the Department of Cultural Affairs, the Nevada Women's History Project, First Lady Guinn, and the citizens of Nevada. A partnership that successfully placed a statue of Sarah Winnemucca in our nation's capital, the second statue here in Carson City, and a third smaller version planned for the placement at the Grant Sawyer State Building in Las Vegas. So how did we get here? In 1864, Congress established National Statuary Hall in the United States Capitol. Every state is allowed to place 2 statues in the hall as tribute to citizens deserving of lasting commemoration, and as of 2001, Nevada only had 1. Inspired by Sally Zanzani's biography of Sarah Winnemucca, the Nevada Women's History Project approached the state legislature with the idea of designating her as our state's second statue in Washington. Sarah's name was put forward in Assembly Bill 267, sponsored by Marcia de Braga and unanimously supported by both the Assembly and the Senate. The bill was signed into law by Governor Guinn on May 29, 2001. The support was overwhelming, but the work had just begun. With each of our speakers, you will learn about the work and personal commitment of many Nevadans to make this project a success. You will hear about Sarah Winnemucca herself, a woman who spent her entire life working selflessly for the betterment of her people and for all Nevadans. You will hear about a young and remarkably talented artist who is directly responsible for Nevada now having one of the greatest works of art in Statuary Hall. You will hear about the valuable role of the Women's History Project in seeing this project through from start to finish, and the personal commitment of time and talent by the members of the Statue Selection Committee. And you will hear about the statewide crusade of First Lady Guinn. Mrs. Guinn's passion for this project helped inspire the enthusiasm to expedite an achievement that I think may be unequaled in the annals of this state's cultural undertakings. The statue we dedicate here today in Carson City is a reflection of all of their efforts. And on behalf of all the school children and Nevada residents who may never make it to the nation's capital, I thank you, Mrs. Guinn, and all the others who have helped place this replica in Carson City and the one planned for Las Vegas, so that they may serve to educate and inspire Nevadans right here at home. In the statue dedication program is a list of the many public entities, local governments, and schools that have given to this important project. The program also lists the many nonprofit and private organizations that helped raise funds for the statue. However, the complete list of individual benefactors, I am proud to say, is too long to print in the program and can be found on our department's website at nevadaculture.org. From the bake sale held by the Paiute school children of Fort McDermott to the pink teas at the governor's mansion, every dollar raised for this effort came with a true passion for fulfilling a dream to recognize a distinguished Nevadan by sending Sarah Winnemucca back to Washington, D.C. As head of the Department of Cultural Affairs, I also wish to recognize the efforts of my staff. Under the leadership of Susan Boskop of the Nevada Arts Council, Sarah Jones at the State Library and Archives, and State Historic Preservation Officer Ron James, in providing administrative support and ensuring that every dollar donated went directly to the statue project. I would also like to recognize and comment on someone who normally gets left out, Bob Harmon, our Public Information Officer, a dedicated state employee who single-handedly made sure the citizens of Nevada were kept informed and made aware every step of the way of what we were doing on their behalf. This has been a great month for Nevada culture. I'm aware of no other single art or cultural-related event that has captured so much attention and been so positively recognized in every corner of our state and the country. Now I'd like to introduce our first speaker, my boss. When Governor Guinn first came to office, he made it clear that building partnerships between the public and private sectors would be critical to the success of many tasks of importance to the citizens of the state. His philosophy has been the cornerstone of many accomplishments by our department and the very inspiration for the success of this project. The governor's commitment to this project and our advancement of arts and culture in the state led him to write a personal check that helped jumpstart the statue's fundraising efforts and bring us to where we are here today. It's with great pleasure I introduce Governor Kenny Guinn.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I too would like to welcome all of you, and I didn't know we had this many people in Nevada because you never showed up for my inaugurations over the last 2 occasions. But thank you for coming for this great honor today to Sarah Winnemucca. Scott, I want to thank you for the kind introduction. I also would like to tell everyone here that the job you and your people do on behalf of the culture in our state is truly phenomenal. When we were back in Washington, D.C. to unveil the statue in Statuary Hall, the entire process would not have been successful if it were not for the help that you and your talented staff gave us. And what about that wonderful work of the Nevada Women's History Project? I mean, they have been phenomenal. I want you to look at me and I want you to think in your mind that certainly I'm a man that wouldn't wear a hat on a pink day party at the mansion. But after 3 years of meeting with these ladies, I too donned a nice hat with a beautiful feather in it in order to raise money. But I want to thank all of you as staff and all of you from the Women's Nevada Project on History, because without this, we just wouldn't be here today. And in a moment, you're going to meet the young man responsible for this beautiful work. And it's Benjamin Victor, the young man that was sitting over next to me on my right from you and to my left. What a powerful young man that we have here, and what a great job he's done for himself and for Nevada especially. But first, let me go back in time to March the 9th, when many of us gathered in Washington, D.C. to dedicate the Sarah Winnemucca statue in the Capitol Rotunda. What an experience it was. It was a historic day for Nevada. For only the second time, a statue of a historic figure was honored in our nation's capital. Sarah joined United States Senator Pat McCarran as the only Nevadan so honored. And when you look at it, there's only 100 to be in Statuary Hall, and we now have our 2. It was a day when the nation's eyes were focused proudly on the great state of Nevada all across national television, and especially C-SPAN. Seeing Sarah Winnemucca in all of her elegant, flowing beauty that day was truly a breathtaking experience for all of us. And thanks to the teamwork of a host of great Nevadans, Sarah's moment in the Capitol Rotunda was perfect, something we will always remember. It will blow as quietly as the wind blows her skirt when you are able to see this magnificent statue. Truly, I doubt very seriously there is a more fair or inspiring statue than this wonderful work from Ben Victor. Sarah Winnemucca was one of the greatest figures in the history of Nevada. You'll learn more about her, and so will the thousands and thousands of other youngsters who come through these doors to be able to see the statue of Sarah Winnemucca as she would stand in Statuary Hall. She was a believer in the brotherhood of mankind, and she worked for all of us. She was just earlier than our time. She lived her life so that she could always help others. I cannot think of a more deserving or appropriate figure to be honored than this amazing 19th century Native American woman, a person whose life made our state much more caring and a compassionate state it is. In order to capture such a special spirit, you have to be special yourself. Benjamin Victor is special. He is an exceptional young man. I would like to say he has a bright future ahead of him, but then again, he's already accomplished so much in such a short time especially. And over the coming years, I'm certain we will continue to see more wonderful, wonderful things from him as a great artist. And I think now we can almost claim him as a Nevada artist. Benjamin. When First Lady Dima was part of the search to find the right artist for this project, along with some other very talented people in the selection process, she often would tell me that the competition was stiff, that we had some very fine artists vying for selection as Sarah's sculptor, but Ben's work was his knowledge of classical aesthetics, art history, and human anatomy, and symbolism made for an inspiring product that he finished, all for us, as long as we're on this earth, and all for our children as they follow us. And we will always be indebted for Ben for the great work. But more than all of this, it is Ben's great passion for the work he does. It's his chosen profession, it's his chosen life, and he does it well. He has a clear understanding that a state reveals itself, not only by the people we produce, but in the way we honor and remember those people. With this statue, He has literally taken a part of our history and he has bent it, he has shaped it, and he has caressed it into something beautiful and meaningful in so many different ways for each one of us. This, I think, is his greatest gift, his passion for transitioning time and recalling what was great in our past and make it even greater again in the present for us and hopefully for the future of all Nevadans. Deem and I feel very blessed to have gotten to know Ben and his family. We consider him a very dear friend. He is like family to us and to the people of Nevada now, and we'll always know him as Ben. So Ben, thank you for the great service you have given our state. It is a service that is too great for words, one that will live far beyond any of our years. Ladies and gentlemen, already a great and inspiring young man, it's my pleasure to introduce you to a great artist now and even a greater artist in the years to come, Benjamin Victor.
Okay.
You gotta talk into that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an incredible honor to be here today and to have such a wonderful turnout. After that speech by Governor Guinn, I don't think I'll ever have to say anything good about myself ever again. But you know, when I started this project and when I went for the project and heard about it, I didn't realize how inspired I really would be by Sarah's life. She really is such an amazing person, and as I read her book and Sally Zanjani's book, the inspiration began to flow, and I hope when all of you come in to see the sculpture today that you'll recognize some of the things about the work of art that make it a poetic display of who Sarah was. First of all, she is in motion because she was an activist and she was always a dynamic person towards a cause. The wind in her dress alludes to the fact that she was an incredibly spiritual person and also a person who lived in a time of great change. When you look at her and you see the book in her hand, I hope that people will recognize and realize what a great, important accomplishment it was for a Native American woman to write a book in English at that time in history, and also that she was the first Native American woman ever to write a book and publish a book in English, which is a pretty amazing thing right here in Nevada. And as the piece moves up into her intense eyes and she looks out on that flower, there's two things I would like the viewers to see. Number one is that even though she, in a lot of ways, assimilated enough to white culture to be able to relate and to be able to talk about her people's cause, she never let go of her culture. She never let go of the Paiute culture. And that flower represents the shell flower, which she was named for. Her name in Paiute, and I'll probably pronounce it a little bit wrong, but it's Tsomi Toniga, and it means shell flower in Paiute. So that relates to her culture and her name, but it also relates to her life purpose, which was peace and harmony with nature and peace between the cultures. So I really hope that as you look at the artwork today that it speaks to you about Sarah. That was my intent, to really capture the spirit of who Sarah Winnemucca was. Thank you.
Assembly Bill 267 called for the creation of a 6-member statue selection committee to oversee the selection of the artist and successful completion of the project. 2 members were appointed by the governor, 2 by the Senate Majority Leader Bill Raggio, and 2 by Speaker of the Assembly Richard Perkins. It is with great pleasure that I now introduce the chair of that committee, Carrie Townley Porter.
I think I need some help. Thank you, Scott. If I were teaching my 7th graders I used to teach, I wouldn't need it. As you have heard, the bill that was passed in 2001 for the creation of the statue of Sarah Winnemucca also had something else in it. It was the bill that set a committee. This committee has been called the Nevada Statue Selection Committee. It's been called the Sarah Winnemucca Statue Selection Committee. But regardless of what it has been called, this committee was set up, and as you were told, they are representatives of the general public. They are Nevadans. 2 of these members were appointed by the Majority Leader of the Senate, 2 by the Speaker of the House, and 2 by the Governor, those people who held the office at that time. The committee was charged with choosing an artist to create the statue and approve the design of the statue. The members of this committee served without compensation and received no expenses from the state. It is my pleasure that every member of that committee was back in Washington, D.C. for the commemoration and dedication of the statue in the U.S. Capitol. I would like to introduce the members of this committee. They are our First Lady, Guinn. She also serves as the honorary chair of this committee, and I don't know how we could have done it without her. Stephen High, where's Stephen? The director of the committee vice chair. Richard Hooker with the City of Las Vegas Cultural and Community Affairs. These 2 members were appointed by Governor Guinn. Debbie Allen of Fallon. Debbie was appointed by Assemblyman Richard Perkins, who was then Speaker of the Assembly, and I also was privileged to have been appointed by him. I would like to thank these members of the committee for their hard work to make this beautiful statue possible and for their choice of this wonderful young sculptor, Benjamin Victor. It was not an easy task, but the committee did a magnificent job. I would also like to thank Sisco and the Department of Cultural Affairs for their wonderful support of the committee. Without them, we could not have done what we did, and they were just absolutely marvelous. I can't say enough good things about Scott and his people. My last act as chair of this committee is to abolish it. I herefore declare that this committee has faithfully carried out its charges and has done its job, and we are now officially dissolved. Thank you.
These folks on this committee really were wonderful. They put so much time and effort into this, and they worked so hard. And the governor wanted to make sure I made it clear to everybody he didn't appoint his wife, Senator Raggio did. For those of you that might have thought there was a shake-up in the legislature, Senator Raggio and Speaker Perkins, they're still there. Anyway, at this time, I would again like to comment on the importance of the Nevada Women's History Project's commitment to this project. Without their involvement, we would not be standing here today. Please join me now in welcoming the President of the Nevada Women's History Project, Joan Lemire.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome on behalf of the Nevada Women's History Project. I want to thank Governor Kenny Guinn and our esteemed legislators for having the foresight to recognize Sarah Winnemucca as a Native American leader and pass the bill sponsored by Marcia de Braga that enabled our organization to raise the funds that were needed for the statue of Sarah, which was dedicated on March 9th and now stands in the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. You trusted Nevada Women's History Project to raise the money for the statue, and we came through for you. Thank you to Kathleen Clement for all of her tireless efforts for making our trip to Washington, D.C. a trip. There were around 90 of us that went along to see that Sarah got placed there correctly. Nevada Women's History Project is so very fortunate to have among our ranks as a member our own governor's wife, Dima. If it were not for Dima and her fundraising abilities, we would not have this second statue here in Carson City for us all to admire. This statue is an exact replica of the statue that stands in our nation's capital. Mrs. Guinn felt that it was essential that the people of Nevada and their children have an opportunity to view the statue here in Nevada. Our heartfelt thanks to you, Dima. I also want to thank the Department of Cultural Affairs today, Scott Sisco and Sarah Joan, for making the arrangements for this dedication ceremony. Sarah Winnemucca was an icon of human rights, an empowering figure in women's history, and an advocate for education. Sarah was one of the most determined and compassionate people that ever lived. Those are the words of the sculptor, Benjamin Victor. Benjamin had captured the very essence of Sarah in his piece by presenting her in motion, thus portraying her amazing zeal in pursuit of her cause. In her left hand, she's holding the book that he talked about. She was the first Native woman to write a book. In her right hand, she holds Benjamin highlighted each unique characteristic of his subject. Benjamin Victor is the youngest artist to ever have a sculpture in National Statuary Hall.
The enthusiastic support of local governments from every corner of the state was crucial to the successful completion of the statue project. Clark County Commissioner Lynnette Boggs McDonald perceived the importance of this project early on and played a pivotal role in the response by local governments as demonstrated by the generous support from Clark County and Las Vegas. Please join me in welcoming Commissioner Lynnette Boggs McDonald.
Good afternoon. To Governor and Mrs. Guinn, to the members of the Nevada Women's History Project, distinguished guests and friends, it is truly an honor to be a part of the unveiling of the Sarah Winnemucca Statue Project here in Carson City. It was a tremendous honor to be in our nation's capital last month for the unveiling in Statuary Hall of the captivating work of sculptor Benjamin Victor, of this great contributor to our state's history, Sarah Winnemucca. We stand together today as proof that if we put our minds together to any worthy task, we can truly accomplish the improbable. I first became aware of this important project in 2003 while serving as the president of the Nevada League of Cities and Municipalities. A council member from the city of Winnemucca first educated me to the person and to the project. However, I also heard from the great spirits in my own family tree, calling out to me from the banks and winds of the Appomattox, saying, "Bring Sarah back to Washington one more time." For I had seen in Statuary Hall, in the city of my birth, and I knew it was rare for a woman to be honored in such a manner. Sarah is now the 8th woman out of 99 statues displayed in the United States Capitol. And it was also even rarer for a woman of color to be so honored. Many were equally moved, yes. Many were equally moved by the story of Sarah, with more than 500 individuals and families donating funds for the project. Governor Guinn and Mrs. Guinn were among the first to make personal contributions, as did Nevada school children from Sarah Winnemucca Elementary School, Carson City Middle School, and the 4th grade class from Fort McDermott, to name a few. Pink teas were held around the state. Pamela Brown launched her new jewelry line at a luncheon held at Neiman Marcus to benefit this project. Diverse service organizations such as the American Association of University Women, Seroptimus International, and the Mesquite Club joined diverse businesses such as Douglas Disposal, Martin and Pelton, Jones Vargas, Station Casinos, the Wiegand Foundation, and others in funding the project. And political clubs, both Republican and Democratic, joined in the effort. Last year, I was able to convince my former colleagues in the Las Vegas City Council to contribute $40,000 to this project. And as fate would have it, I switched jobs last April and was able to convince my new colleagues on the Clark County Commission to match the city. And so now you know why Governor Guinn appointed me to that new job. The real story finally comes out. But the real credit truly belongs to Mrs. Guinn and the Nevada Women's History Project. They believed in their hearts that this day would come, and it is their love for our state and for Sarah that brings us all here today. From her book, Life Among the Paiutes, Sarah Winnemucca once wrote, and by, the dark children grew into a large nation. We believe it is the one we belong to, and that the nation that sprung from the white children will sometime send someone to meet us and heal all the old trouble. Well, Sarah, we have all come to meet you today. White, black, red, brown, yellow, and blended. Your people, united as the battle-born, as Nevadans. We stand united to heal the old trouble. We thank you for your life and for your service to our state and nation. And we pray that your great spirit will serve as an inspiration to our children and our children's children for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At the heart of this project is the Assembly bill which gave it life and outlined a plan for its successful conclusion. I now have the honor of introducing the Speaker of the Nevada State Assembly, Richard Perkins.
I don't know about you, but I'm still having a hard time trying to block the thought out of Governor Guinn wearing a pink tea hat. Thank you, Scott, and thank you all for being here this afternoon and for your support of this historic project. When we passed the legislation sponsored by Assemblywoman Marcia de Braga in 2001 that designated Sarah Winnemucca as Nevada's second statue in Statuary Hall, we knew Nevadans would unite in their support for the project. We knew this not because we are so good at seeing the future, but because Sarah was. Sally Sanjani once wrote that Sarah Winnemucca walked out of the Stone Age world where she was born into the parlors of the intellectual elite and the halls of Congress. Her life story was tied to the birth and early life of our state. The birthing pains were hard as two worlds collided, each unsure or unwilling to place trust in the other, and a widening gap between cultures grew within the confines of the Great Basin. Across this gap, Sarah Winnemucca sought to build a bridge of understanding, tolerance, and justice for her people. She lived her life much as Benjamin Victor's statue has captured her, with one arm outstretched and offering the shell flower of peace, while the other cradles her book as a representation of the morality and heritage of her people's vanishing way of life. Her choices were difficult, and her tenacity was the stuff of legends. Even when betrayed by broken promises or abandoned by all but her closest supporters, she exhibited a zeal for justice, a courtship with adventure, and a passion for peace that is unmatched by any hero of practically any age. The irony is that she ended her life with what is believed to be a sense of frustration amidst feelings of failure. All of us here today know she did not fail. In fact, her mission to raise awareness for the plight of her people goes on over 100 years after her death. In part because of her writings, in part because of what has been written about her, and in part because of this project, a lasting tribute to both her physical and spiritual nature. There is only one way to better acknowledge the importance of Sarah Winnemucca's life than sending her back to a permanent place within the halls of Congress, where she will have the chance to serve as an inspiration for all people from every walk of life and every country in the world. And that is to have her with us in Nevada as well. Thank you.
When I asked Senate Majority Leader Bill Raggio to speak at today's dedication, he jokingly replied that he felt it would be appropriate for him to do so as he personally knew Sarah Winnemucca. At least I think it was a joke. If not, then I'd like to introduce someone who looks remarkable for his age, Senator Bill Raggio.
Thank you very much, Governor, Mrs. Guinn, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take a leaf out of Sarah Winnemucca's book. I was going to deliver my remarks in the Paiute language, but I know that the majority of you would not understand, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this today in English. It is an honor to be here today representing the State Senate. The Senate voted unanimously to endorse this very worthwhile project, and I would also like to, on behalf of the Senate, extend to everyone who played a part in this very significant event to pay tribute to them and to give you the thanks from the Senate of the state of Nevada. Let me tell you a little bit more about Sarah Winnemucca. By the time that Sarah Winnemucca traveled to Washington, D.C. in 1878, the National Statuary Hall in the nation's capital would have been in existence for just over 14 years. And at that time, only 10 statues filled the hall. New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island had each contributed their 2 statues. Vermont and Maine had each sent 1. The statues were a combination of founding fathers, Revolutionary War heroes, and early colonial figures. Contrary to what you have just heard, I was not there at the time. And I can't even speculate if Sarah ever saw these statues. Based on what we've read about her, I would think it's safe to say that she could never have imagined that she would one day join these distinguished figures. But she is there, one of 4 Native American sculptors in National Statuary Hall, and one of only 2 depicting Native American women. The other is Sacagawea of North Dakota, who of course was so prominent in the discovery of the West and the adventures of Lewis and Clark. But all of us, whether we were ever fortunate enough to know Sarah or not, know that Sarah stands alone, unmatched in her ability to face the winds of change that were sweeping across her land at that time. Now Sarah Winnemucca has come home. 130 years ago, Sarah visited Carson City to plead her case that Camp McDermott on the Nevada-Oregon border would remain open to protect the Paiute people from hostile settlers. The Carson Appeal newspaper advocated the continuation of Camp McDermott, and it urged the legislature to give Sarah a full and respectful hearing. The resolution supporting the continued operation of the military fort died in the Assembly after a unanimous Senate vote. Same thing that's happening today. I should say at that time again, the Senate was Republican and the Assembly was Democrat. There is no record that the 1875 legislature ever heard Sarah's testimony. But from this day forward, Sarah Winnemucca will always have a presence in the state capitol. Her message will never be silenced again. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call on Ralph Burns from the Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe for a Native American blessing.
I think the blessing is written in the program, so I don't have to translate. Pisha da make ya sumur shukwina so me tonega pisha te winum shukwina ka on nost ya na mani ku perkuedo ni han suzum te numu ya ga na kaspido para kaya na kapitsia kaya na ka o chicken wina pan ka on nost na mani pen ku ya pisha ku te na han ni pitta ka minyo ode ka on nos namane punya uskuita supita miya da miya no yon yan no pisha on shukuga usuya da beku bekwet nebu manu betul da mitebing ko umya di tasemer ya pisha hima mamiyak pisha hima mahane pisha mastu hai kya uka somitonega samupi umya pa anaya namaya gwida umno ka nama uka on so chama zain na pa isno ko hi ya namu ba tu manin psheda me stuna ka ko tami no ko namu ya samu ponir mo baya gimar pshe mastu hai tami tip tami pa tami songa hakun no hiya dipu ko kwet mod nar piastu hai ikia tomit to ne ganana ma share was mo babi jak share mo mare share mustunaga share was mustu hai kya ya dihi sumowan isa makanok ya piatumia Pouvoir. Thank you.
Thank you all for attending this historic event. Finally, I want to say how excited we are that so many people came to this dedication this evening. There are 3 activities left for you this evening, and they can be done in any order. We will open these doors and the statue will be available for viewing. There are refreshments and miniature versions of the statue in the State Library and Archives, which is located immediately behind the Capitol. There you can visit with artist Benjamin Victor, the governor, and Mrs. Guinn. And additionally, the Native American performers will begin immediately in the amphitheater, which is located just south of the Capitol, and continue until 7 p.m. Any of these activities can be done in any order. The Capitol will be open this evening until 8 p.m., so you should have plenty of time to visit the statue tonight. I'm sorry, did it not? Okay. Thank you and enjoy, and again, thank you for coming.
Tell not to touch the sculpture, please.
A reminder, please, as you view the sculpture, please do not touch it.
Actually, just hold on one sec.